You are tuned in to a Fireside chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back, or welcome to for the first time, to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, my guest is Brad Johnson. Brad is a 30-year-old channeling medium based in the city of Victoria, British Columbia, in Canada. In 2008, having had an awakening, he was guided to begin the pursuit of automatic writing. One of his first contacts through automatic writing was the being known as Adronis. Adronis revealed to Brad that he was a future incarnation that exists 297 years in our future. Adronis and Brad both share the same soul, and Adronis reflects on what lies ahead for humanity as well as planet Earth. Adronis has come here at this time fully committed to speaking through Brad as he assists in helping expand our consciousness, to understand that we are part of an enormous cosmic plan that will accelerate our human evolution, and to reveal how unlimited all of us truly are. So, let's welcome Brad, and Adronis, of course, to the show now. Hi, Brad, how are you?
Hi, Lance. Thank you very much for having me. It's a great honor to be here.
It's a delight. It's a pleasure. Well, you know, I discovered you somehow. I don't know how, but it might have been through a mutual friend, Magenta Pixie, who I just love dearly. I think we talked about that before the show, and yep. She's just one of the highest channels that I've heard lately.
Yes. And she was the very first channel that I actually met, that I actually talked to. Like, I sent her emails, and I just started talking to her through voice chat and all that stuff like that. And she kind of helped me a lot with starting out on channeling, because just when I started to awake in August, I just got so fascinated with channeling because I was looking at all these things at once. And Magenta Pixie was one of the very first people that I talked to that was involved with channeling, and got to talk to her. And then I kind of moved on with Darryl Anka and BASHAR and got with him, and I sent him a few emails too because I was looking to get into channeling as well too. And so he sent me some advice by email, and it's been a wonderful journey ever since then. It's been amazing.
Well, yeah, you're certainly contacted two of the highest channels on the planet, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the channels that I know, BASHAR, I would say, is probably my personal favorite. And then Magenta Pixie would, come a little below that, but not too far away. She's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
So, what happened in August? What were you doing when you had your awakening?
It all started with a science fiction novel. That's exactly how it started. And I was just a writer. I wanted to create a novel based on, it was like extraterrestrial contact and everything like that, but I wanted to make it as real as possible. And this novel, I was going to call it Day Zero, and it was just about, this contact, and so I wanted to get some more research done. So I started to go on YouTube, and I started to go on all these other websites, looking at ET contacts, looking at other forms of, testimonials, metaphysical information, all this. And just when I started doing that, it started to become an obsession. It was like a filling cup of knowledge. Just everything just started downloading into my head right away. It felt like just there was this trigger that just went off. But it wasn't like a particular day that happened and all of a sudden, oh my God, I just awoken. It felt like it was a bit of over a span of time. It was like a week or something. And I just got into it. I just started getting, so obsessed with this. So this is amazing stuff, and just
I know that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. The information that they were coming out with, just a lot of these spiritual experts, I guess you could say, with a lot of the information they came out with. I was starting to have such a profound, intense feeling of wanting to get into meditation, and I never had that before, and it felt just like this instantaneous form of downloads were just happening all at once. I guess I could say it was really a phase, a time for awakening like myself. And I was on Rumor Mill News Radio a couple of months back, and I was talking to Raylan Allen about it. And she was just kind of blown away by it herself, too, saying, like, you're getting all these downloads. And, I've only been doing this for a year and a half. And there's just been so much information and so much downloads and so much happening to me. This has just been an amazing, life-changing transformation that's been happening to me for the past year and a half. And it's been
Well, that's fantastic, and that bodes well for the rest of humanity as well, because as you probably realized when you started getting into this, like, you know, we all seem kind of stumble into it, and then I was just as obsessed as you were, and still am. But
that's how it begins.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So you can see that the bulk of humanity still is, you know, kind of cutting Z's. In other words, they're sleeping. So I want to find out a little bit more about what Adronis says about the future, because I'm sure he's shared some things with you about that. And and if you think, or if he thinks, if we all think that there will be a mass awakening.
I think it's really happening now. Really everything is just happening at the same time. And yes, there are some people that are still catching Z's, but in a way, that's a great thing. That's fantastic, actually. In a way, I see everything, even in this now moment, as something that's just a blessing. You know, everything that's happening right now is exactly what's supposed to be happening. You know, people that are in this state, too, you know, where they're still catching Z's, so to speak, there's going to be that moment that's going to hit. And it's not going to hit everybody at the same time. And I think a lot of people get mistaken by that. They think, you know, there's just going to be this mass awakening. Well, there is going to be a mass awakening, but it's going to stretch itself out. It's not, there's not going to be one gigantic thing where, bam, 6.6 billion people, poof, they're all awake. There's always going to be that one point where, you know, in the day, you may have a dozen people waking up. You may have 100 people waking up. You know, it all depends on everything that they experienced in life. The way that the system is right now, they are archetypes all created so that you can allow yourself to overcome these systems. It's not about breaking down the systems, because the systems are programmed to break themselves down at a particular point. The whole idea is that when you're here on this planet right now, living out through this experience, is that you are overcoming the obstacles, and that's the true awakening. It's not about, you know, I oppose the NWO, or I can't wait till the financial system collapses, and, you know, all that stuff. You know, those are chain reactions, those are archetypes that are going to deal with themselves. Your mission yourself is for you just to overcome those obstacles, so that you yourself saying, okay, now I finally got to that point, oh my God, look what's happening to me now. I'm having this amazing experience. I realize that I'm more than this physical body. I realize more that I'm more than this physical life. So I think when people start to hit that aspect, that's the true form of awakening, that they are more than this physical body and this physical life.
Well, that certainly, I certainly resonates with me. And, you know, one of the things that I have to keep reminding myself, because we see so much greed and corruption in the world right now, is just what you said, that, you know, it's a reflection or a mirror out there, but we have to go within to work on ourselves, and can't allow what's out there to take us down to that level. It's not there for that purpose.
Precisely. Yeah, I mean, people ask me all the time, too, because I get a lot of emails, you know, just the span over the past couple of months is like, well, you know, Brad, I feel like I'm such a great person, but, you know, why am I experiencing all this chaos? Why am I experiencing all this form of suffering? You know, why is it that I'm experiencing this? Well, you've got to understand that Earth is a duality. There's two sides to the coin. If you're all here to experience, you know, rainbows and whiskers on kittens and stuff like that, you know, you wouldn't be here on this planet. You'd already be up there, you know, with the rest of those angels and, you know, everything else. The whole idea is that you're here to learn something, and that, you know, if you don't learn the experience, it's going to repeat itself. It's that cycling process. So, I mean, everybody is here to learn something in particular. I mean, you're here to experience the bliss and the suffering. So it's just a matter of saying, okay, now that I've experienced both sides, which is the side I prefer? Not even just the idea of what is the side I prefer, but do I understand that I'm both sides of that coin? And now I can understand right now that, okay, I've had this part where it's been very chaotic. Now I'm ready to overcome it. I'm ready to heal that, and I'm ready to move on to my next challenge. That's exactly what.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I suppose that's part of the awakening and the taking responsibility for, you know, the lessons that we choose or have chosen already prior to coming here to learn.
Exactly. And, you know, anybody the way how they want to perceive it, you know, even how people want to awaken to it. You know, there's a lot of people that are just profound with the idea of, you know, seeking out extraterrestrial intelligence. There's people out there that really see everything as angelic. And really anybody how they awaken is totally up to you. I mean, with just for example, with me, the way I am is I'm very extraterrestrial-based, I don't really say them too much about angels. My girlfriend will look at the idea of saying, okay, well, they're angels. Or Brad may think that they're aliens, but the whole idea is that they're pretty much one and the same. It's all about what your perspective is to decide, okay, well, I see them as angels, another person may see them as aliens, but really the whole consensus is that they are, those beings in higher places that can help you out once you get to that point of awakening.
I've heard that there are some pitfalls along the way, too, that there are some ET groups that appear as angelic, and that they are really quite not, quite devious. So, we have to be able to discern or sense, I suppose, the frequency of the contact that we're having.
Well, see, the idea is that when you're in the frequency, to understand that there may be someone of deception, it's pretty much yourself telling you something. So again, it's looking at that whole idea of saying, okay, well, there's that duality part. So yeah, there are going to be those forms of beings that are, in that sense, deceptive, because again, you're still being part of a duality. You're here, you're in this grand university called Earth, and you're having these experiences of saying, okay, well, I don't know about this. Just the way that something came through, it just didn't seem like it was too enlightening for me. Maybe there just felt like there was this agenda. Usually how you can tell from any form of being that isn't really that of a, I guess you could say, a higher nature of vibration, is that they can't create. In order for you to create, you have to be in that higher state of vibration. You have to be in that state of love. Love is creativity. Light itself is knowledge. So if you are starting to reach the higher aspects of love, when you start feeling joy, that's exactly how you get inspiration. You can only get inspiration from being in a lot of joy and being in a lot of bliss itself. You're never going to find a chronically depressed person who is just so down in the dumps wanting to create anything. They're just wallowing in their own self-misery. So the whole idea is that if they feel that there's something about them that's just doesn't appeal to you, that seems out of balance, that doesn't seem like they're able to create, then that's something that kind of gives you an indication of saying, I really wonder about that. And of course, it's listening to your inner self as well, too, listening to your higher self, listening to that part of you that is in that higher level to truly discern what you encounter.
Now, what about Adronis? Tell us a little bit more about him. Well, you, right? Because he's part of soul, and he's you in the future. I've often thought that, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, the strange thing that happened, because I was starting to learn channeling back in December of 2008, and I was talking to some people online, and one of my old friends was telling me, well, Brad, here's what you can do. If you're really interested in channeling and looking for extraterrestrial intelligence and stuff like that, here's a little technique you can try. Go out to your balcony and just send out a telepathic response and see if you get anything. And so I actually went out to my balcony at night, and I never saw anything in the sky, other than stars. And I just went outside, and I just kind of closed my eyes, and I said, all right, if there's anybody out there that, is within the vicinity of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, that can truly show themselves, because I just want to know that you're out there. I want to know that you're here. Would you mind please showing yourself? 15 to 30 seconds after I said that, there was this little star that just wiggled right out of the sky and just shot right across the sky, just flying right across the sky. And it was just this amazing, it just looked like, one of the stars just actually popped out of the sky and just started flying right across the sky.
That's
15 to 30
cool.
seconds. And, yeah, my ex who was with me at the time, too, saw it as well, too. And the funny thing was, shortly after that sighting happened, I woke the next morning and I actually knew knowledge I didn't even know before.
Wow.
So it almost felt like an adjustment to channel. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't shortly after that where I started getting into the automatic writing state. I started to talk to Adronis, and he'd introduce himself. He says, I'm a probable version of you 297 years in the future. Now, what I found out about the 297 is truly that was said for a purpose, because this being can truly be in any form of time period that he wants. The entire consensus of the 297 actually has to do with the number of incarnations I've been on this planet. So for me right now, as Brad, this is incarnation number 297. Oh. So that's actually what I found out from my guidance when I was getting into a very meditative state not too long ago. And he's very, very cryptic with a lot of the stuff. You can just go onto my YouTube page and you can see a bunch of videos that he talks about. His energy just reminds me a lot about BASHAR. So if you know a lot about BASHAR, then that pretty much sums up Adronis. It's very, very similar information. They're both from the Association of Worlds, from what they have told me. and his information is just great. He's here to help, here to guide.